Click the subscribe button below to receive new videos as we release them. Hit the thumbs up button so others can find our content. For more information, visit thejerusalemassembly.org.
The Divine Plan. Enabling Faith, by Ruben D. Garcia. Think of a time in the last 4 or 5 years that you had an inner desire to conduct an honest, open, and truthful talk with someone about your inner feelings about God's nature, especially since December 21, 2012, when a divine decree was enacted to assist humanity's ascension into new consciousness. I am confident that many of you felt uncomfortable with the thought of questioning the norm. I am not surprised if the majority of you felt reluctant to discuss any issue referring to God's nature with anyone, especially with a family member. In fact, some of you who felt certain that you could do it became nervous and hesitant at the thought. I can tell you that it is not a surprising encounter to be reluctant or hesitant, especially since God intervened in the affairs of humanity to assist in bringing mankind's consciousness to a higher optimizing level from mundane spirituality. However, let us say you did follow through and had your discourse with someone of knowledge in the interest you wanted to discuss. The question is, how did you feel during the conversation or when it was completed? Did you feel you could have done better or maybe addressed more intense or provocative issues? Was the discussion successful in optimizing your concerns? Why am I asking these questions, you may wonder? The answer is simple. I am enabling you to find answers within yourself that can easily afford you the opportunity to not only recognize but actually feel deep in your nature that God has just demonstrated His faith in you through your active conscience. It is not that you question the ideas you learned and hopefully have been practicing, but seeking truth has become the mainstay of the spirituality trend in which all of humanity will emanate unconditional love throughout our next existence on a new earth. It is as if you are challenging yourself to discover truth by the means you feel adequate and not based on antiquated or archaic notions. It may make others uncomfortable, but with your honest intent in searching God's true nature realistically, you honor Him immensely, because knowledge replaces fear, and when fear is abolished, faith arises triumphantly. In every sense, you are the architect of your spirituality as we journey into this new earth, for we will walk alongside God by a true divine faith that will afford us the opportunity to be truly one with Him, just as Adam experienced. Next, all that was done by impulse, that is by what conscience offered, will no longer be, but it will be replaced by the breath of the Spirit guiding through truthfulness and genuine emotions, and not by the visionary ideals of the ego as it has done for millennia. In fact, most of you in the near transitional spiritual future will be in accord that we never know when we will draw our last breath, or whether we will stand before the Lord. It will be as discovering a new wisdom to life in which the heart will be at the center of all things. I can hardly wait for its entrance into humanity's evolved conscience. Thus, so far, I have disclosed the emerging you. You will be the one that will be spiritually inquisitive, the loyal creation that sees God as He truly is, magnificent and loving in all aspects, not a demander of pain, suffering, and sorrow as tolls for honor or homage. A new conviction of a divine faith shall be within you, pleasing God and God feeling pleased with you. The most significant aspect of the new you believes that God will come through you for others every time, but not sporadically as it is viewed today. You will live by a new faith in which humanity is the center of everything. This can be achieved by understanding how wisdom can be manageable in all spiritual aspects of the new you. Thus, let's review how the ancient wise elders manifested it. First, God is in control, and we have nothing to fear. Ever since the creation of Adam, we have the impression that someone else is in control of humanity. In fact, a substantial number of people still believe humanity is the only beings in all the galaxies. Convincing them that our divine creator and source, God, has a multitude of creatures that resemble us and in some degree can be considered as our galactic brothers, will be preposterous to them. In other cases, some may agree that the possibilities exists that God has other created creatures, but they will come to Earth to destroy and or enslave us. Ridiculous. Not really, but such a mentality exists and has been convincing through movies, novels, and books. The reality is that God is a divine creator with magnificent divine dexterity to bring the best in everything He creates. it will be beneficial and favorably for a person to accept, at least in principle, that God has created other advanced civilizations will be a good start toward recognizing a new Earth and a transformed humanity. This scenario is going to be very real in the next 4 generations as we speak. Given all possible considerations, consider this: there is and will possibly be apprehension, fear, and doubt still for some, even if there is certainty that our future will be one of peace and harmony from what was once a period in which humanity was shackled for a long time and our inner emotions, fears were real factors. But soon all of this is about to change with an unprecedented conscience transformation. Second, the precedence of this ideal spiritual protege is a main function of God's wishes, reflecting the greatest virtue of hope, and in some sense, especially as humanity will be facing difficulties with their consciousness in the generations to come, a new membership of individuals shall rise among the awakened ones and be known as men of hope, that will teach that the virtues of believing, strength, and courage will bring about hope in all of the possibilities evolving. Consequently, it is my belief and honest efforts to make as many of you to be the protagonists of a new God's agenda made available to all of humanity. The prospect for this hope mission from all of the awakened ones is essential to overcome, or at least tolerate, the causes of coming fears. It will be natural for humanity to fear the unknown, but from hope comes awareness, and from it wisdom emanates. It is through wisdom that we overcome or manage the possibilities. However, before wisdom becomes a spiritual trait, understanding must be supported by the knowledge of how we interact in our lives. Then, after both correlate in developing a divine self-image, is then that faith emerges as the core of all things we conceptualized life is all about. As discussed in previous articles, faith is love, and love is being happily alive, exercising righteous traits of right and just. But by simply expanding your sentiments as discussed above, you ascend in all aspects of a hope warrior, resulting in wisdom, but also discovering your willpower, which becomes an attribute of the new earth and a new humanity with potentials that will astonish you at their knowledge of it all. The question remains: are you willing to take a leap of faith, or will you just remain in spiritual idleness? The choice is there before you. Do I seek the knowledge that will set me free from the old earth? Do I fear the outcome? If you do, you will experience fears as you have never experienced. Why? Because the light of existing hopes will lose its luster, consequently opaque the true faith as it is offered to the awakened ones presently. Peace and love to all of you. Namaste.